No Prince tonight. Oh, tonight we're going to stop the presses and stop the noise.
There you go.
Mike here with us from Keybar. Real quick, saying what's up to everybody. What's up, Schwab?
Howdy.
Howdy ho. Eric, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, same old, man. It's Thursday nights, ready to do this thing. It's we're over on the new channel. Everything's experimental. I'm glad that it's working. What's up, Casey?
Yo, how's everybody doing?
We're good, man. We're good. Ross, everything good there?
Excellent, man. I hope everybody's looking forward to a good show tonight. I think it's going to be a good one.
I hope so. Mike, what's going on, dude? Mike from Keybar is joining us live and direct from the Keybar facilities. What's going on, dude?
Oh, just another day in paradise, brother.
Right on, right on. Well, we know your story in general, and we're going to get back to it, but real quick, shout out to our sponsors, including Keybar. Go check out keybar.com. Lots of new models to talk about, some new stuff coming from them that we'll be talking about as well. Thanks again to Century Arms, Green Force Tactical, and when it comes to your Kydex, and then also Hilux. Make sure you check out the Hilux optics. Also, we're going to be talking about some stuff during Tech Time tonight. We got a lot of stories teed up, a few videos that I didn't even tell the guys about that we're going to get into tonight that are pretty interesting. But let's do the thing the way we do it and talk to Mike first. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the world of Keybar, how he's involved in the gun world. My Keybar is in right here. Let's talk about what this thing is. Before I even throw it to you, Mike, 2 years ago, I was at SHOT Show and I was at I remember this. I was at the Grand Lux eating lunch.
Yep.
And you walked by and we recognized each other from social media. We said, "What's up?" You reached into your satchel and you threw down a couple Keybars, and I shared one, I think probably with guys or I don't even remember, but I ended up with this carbon fiber like Keybar, and it's gone through a couple changes, a couple things, a couple different uses, but it's settled in as my #1 go-to. I got my Gerber dime on there, I got my car key, and then I got all my essential keys, but it doesn't rattle. It's not some big mess that messes up my pocket.
All
It's
right.
got the clip on there. We'll talk about the product, but you saw this need when you were working in a situation where you had a shit ton of keys to manage, correct?
Yeah, basically, I freaking had 15 keys on a big carabiner. I was that guy making all the jingle jangle walking down the hallway. I worked in a hotel, so I had 15 keys and a screwdriver and a flash drive and all that crap in my pocket. And I was into pocket knives at the time, making knives, and I made a key holder, put a pocket clip on it, and it became something. It was a hobby, and then it became something more than that, and it just really took off, man. And it's been an awesome journey.
And now you're at the point where you've recently moved, correct?
Yeah, we were in a garage for 3 years, one-car garage, and it got to a point we had 7 people coming to my house every day to work, and we finally bought a building and bought all the machinery to make them ourselves and not outsource, and so everything's made right here in this shop in Savannah now.
Right on. So at one point you were bringing in all the parts, putting them in boxes, shipping them out, having the website rocking and rolling.
We were buying the parts fresh off the machine, and then we were finishing them all, assembling them, and then doing all the packaging and all that in-house. So there was a lot to it, and it took manpower, and then it moved to sales. Now it's, a lot of it is sales and marketing, and that's the big thing now.
And you've got a lot of custom work that you're doing for different companies because people want their names on these, correct?
Well, I think that is why we're here today, is because of that. From day one, making it your own personal key holder was what sells the Keybar. For very little charge, you can get it pretty much however you want it, out of whatever material you want to, make it out of, and it'll be yours, and nobody's going to have that. And that's really what makes us stand out. So reaching out to all these companies that I respect, and then cross promoting, and that is really, I mean, like you, I like what you were doing. I saw you, I gave you some key bars, and that's just how I've been from day one. I try to work with companies that I actually want to work with, so.
And you like to have fun. You do stuff in the BMX world. I mean, in the motocross world. I know you've chosen exactly where you want to take your company and which people within each niche you're dealing with that are getting the word out, and then from there, sales come in. You keep on doing it.
Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, like I said a minute ago, I mean, we turn a lot of people down, and we have a list of people that want to work with us, and it's just either we don't work with them, or it's just not the right fit, or whatever. And then it comes to product, having the amount of product for some of these people. But yeah, man, it's finding the right people you want to work with, and that's owning my own business. I have that pleasure now, and it's really a blessing, man.
Right on. Casey's got a question for you. Go ahead, Casey.
So right now, how many employees do you have there?
Now we got 8 employees here.
Okay. Cool.
And we just moved last month, and they were all at my house. 2 months
and you guys should all know that during he jumped on during the while we were getting it together for the show, and the machine's rocking and rolling. It's 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday. We respect your grind, brother. I've always thought that at a lot of the guys in a lot of the different smaller companies, niche companies doing one thing, you're really dialed in on this. We have some of the product available on everydaycarrylife.com. I know you have a full selection on Keybar.com. People can contact you about the custom stuff. But for anyone that has never seen this thing, other than my quick explanation of it, how do you explain it to people? What is a Keybar?
Well, basically, it's like a multi-tool style key holder, and basically think of a Swiss Army knife for your keys. You put in it what you want. This one has a comb in it. It has the tweezers and toothpick in it. I mean, it's really, what do you need? What do you carry every day? Consolidate it. Don't, sometimes you carry a Leatherman just for one specific tool. Now you can put that in your key bar, and that's one less thing you got to carry. And again, there's no more noise. Your keys are always in the same spot. One-handed, that's your house key every time. And it's just a neat little compact way to carry your keys.
Very cool. Casey, go ahead.
Question. I know that y'all have done some collabs with people. What collaboration that you've done in the past do you think brought you the most exposure to Keybar?
And that's a great question. The collaborations, again, are me reaching out to people I really respect, and the one that kind of took off was the Chavez knives collaboration. He made all his knives have a big skull pocket clip on it, so we made a key bar that had the big skull on it, and I mean, we sold 500 of them in about 20 minutes. It was
wow, dude.
And we're actually about to release another run of those next week, so those are a big hit, and so it's just that one there has been the biggest.
Yeah, I had seen. I think I'd heard of you before, but then you did something for SOE, and that's when I looked at it and said, "Oh, okay, this is what."
That's funny. John actually texted me today and said, "Do another run of something awesome." And now we actually just bought this Hoff CNC machine to make them in house, and now we can really get creative. That's really what I'm good at, and so we're going to be doing a really cool SOE one very soon. But the other big companies we're about to start working with are just at the next level, and I can't talk about those yet, but they're going to be coming out really soon, and it's going to be fun. So
congratulations! And you've started messing with different metals, different color combinations, different engraving styles. You got the We the People one now. Again, for the everyday carry type of person, you pretty much have every style. Before I have one more, there's one question in the chat I'll get to first. Can they fit a light, or is there any type of light?
We're working on that. That's really been a challenge from day one. We're working with a couple different companies to try to make that happen, and it's really a cost thing at the end of the day, and having to get it made overseas, and that we really don't want to have to do that. So we're still working on it, but we're not.
Got it. And then my question for you is, being the guy that watches all this stuff come out of a machine every day, every week, every month, how many times have you upgraded or switched out or been like, oh, God, I got to have that one?
Every day.
Every day, pretty much.
It's not every other day or so I'm coming out with something new, and that's what I'm doing here tonight. I mean, it's 9 o'clock, like you said. And I just finished a new Keybar. We'll release tomorrow, and I'll carry it for a couple days, and if I like it, we'll release it. So I was dialing in that program just now, but yeah, it's very often I switch.
I did have one more question. Sorry. Any plans for another size, slightly bigger, maybe?
It's really nothing in the works right
no.
now, but we can. No.
No, I was just curious. I was curious.
Right now, we're just sticking with the basic size, and it seems to work. And really, it's the very few that need a bigger one. It's not worth it for us to retool for that. So,
what is the maximum key length, overall length that the company uses?
It's on my website. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I have one that has like 157 keys in it. We take it to trade shows. It's like that wide.
It's pretty funny. Ross, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering where you got your accessories, your like little comb and whatnot. Is that something that you guys sell, or is that something that you found somewhere?
Yeah, no, we make everything that we sell on our website. So we work with a company called Spectrum Energetics, and we actually met them guys at SHOT Show that first year. We met Kevin, and they're a water jet company. So basically anything we can design or draw, they water jet out for us, and we make everything. All of our accessories are made out of titanium. Our pocket clips, our lanyard links. Most people that buy these things have no idea what titanium really even is, but and they're like, just make that little loop right there out of stainless, and we don't. We try to use the best material because it's lifetime guaranteed, and I'm making it, my name's on it, so
Very cool, man. Very cool, and congratulations on a successful American-run business.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a challenge, but it's been awesome and rewarding, and we're able to buy the equipment to make this stuff. If you had asked me 2 years ago if I would be a machinist today, it's been a complete different path. But yeah, I think it's the right choice, man. Not having to depend on somebody else to supply my product.
Well, what time does Michael get to go home at night every night now?
Usually be 7 o'clock, 7:30. Now that I'm working at home, though, it was a lot different. I'd work till 3 o'clock in the morning, and because I'm at home, and it was. But now that there's a little separation, I'm actually getting home and spending a little time with the wife, and we've hired some really good people to step in and take away a lot of work off my plate. So that's helped a lot.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Just wrapping up here by showing a little bit of a video from Such 00. Everyone knows Such.
Like another one right there, man. Like, I respect his videos and watch them, and I reached out to him at NRA, I think, and gave him that Keybar, and he carried it for like a year, and then finally made a video. I didn't ask him to make a video, but obviously he liked it, and he did an awesome video for us. And
Yep. He's solid, man. We like him as well. And again, I thanked you day one when you handed me this one, and I thank you today because I'm still using it. I find it incredible, man. And again, it's like you said, and then it's progressed to the point that you've seen what we've done with this show, and now you support the show, and now Keybar is a proud sponsor. Next week we'll give one away, and because what we've been doing is we've been rewarding the people watching live and asking them a question about what was on the live thing, and basically asking that question. And so we'll pop a question out next week. We'll give away a Keybar next week. Mike, thanks again. Anyone else got a question before we run?
I'm measuring keys tonight. We'll pull the trigger finally.
Well, anybody watching the show, I will throw a coupon code up on the website. We'll call it Tack Daddy, and it'll get you 10% off, and we'll do that for you guys for the next week or so. And Tack Daddy's website also carries some awesome Keybars, so go check that out.
Right on, man. We appreciate it. We'll make sure we promote that over the next next few days as we're pushing this out.
We are. I'll go ahead and tell you now. We're working on an AR tool that we're going to try to release here very soon to go in it. And I'm actually dialing that in. I keep breaking them, but I'm going to break them until it'll get this stupid nut off of my stuck AR. And if it'll get that one off, it'll get anyone off. So that's going to be coming out really soon. So
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Michael, we'd like to get back to doing what you do. We appreciate it. Thanks again for the support of the show, and we'll talk to you soon for sure. We'll see you at NRA. Are you going to be there, or Blade Show, or any of the other stuff coming up?
We'll be at NRA, and we'll be at the Jaeger party. See you guys there.
We will be sure to track you down.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, man. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Once again, it's Michael from Keybar. Go check out keybar.com. He's going to jump off, get back to work. We're going to get into these stories of the week. Guys, you got any other questions about Keybar? Take it easy, Mike.
No, we're good.
No, what a cool concept, though. You know what I mean? Be able to lock everything up into one little package there. A home built multi-tool. I like it. Custom built.
Well, I knew Schwell was going to get excited about the AR tool, because now he'll get one just to put a key with it, so he can have the AR tool within his.
I was about to put that in the chat. Absolutely.
I'm wondering what that tool is. You know.
AR tool. Maybe next we can get an AK tool, and then
I was thinking AK tool maybe, or
a Glock tool next. Something.
Well, he said he was trying to get a nut off.
I mean a Glock.
Of some sort. But anyway,
front sight tool. There you go.
Ross, you mentioned American business, family business. He's just a solid dude. He's been a giver ever since I met the guy. And like I said, anyone that comes up and just hands me something, they got my attention. From there, you use it. You watch what he does with his company. It gets to the point where we're working together. It's pretty cool because
I'm convinced that the best companies out there start in somebody's single car garage.
A lot of them do.
They really do.
Or in the 5th bedroom with a green screen and brother just.
True enough.
Could be. All right, so let's get over to the. Let's talk about that real quick. I'll throw it to you guys because obviously I know what everyone's answer is to. Do you carry a gun to church and gun-free zones? Kind of some of the stuff we talked about on Facebook this week. Does anyone have any follow-up that has any insight to that beyond just? Well, of course I do. You know, I'm there to protect my family. Any anecdotes, any interactions with pastors, anything like that they want to share while we're getting my tee up these guys?
I didn't tee this up, but there was just Montgomeryville, a guy who went into a church and shot a guy dead. You need to be highly aware that a church is a target for somebody who's anti-church. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
Right on. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We know that the switch kind of to some people is going to take a second to get subscribed to the new channel. If you're not subscribed to Gun News Weekly, please do so. We appreciate it. Lots going on here. Lots of cool stuff going to happen on this channel. All the live stuff that used to be on Kevin the Tac Daddy channel. If there's a Gun News Weekly host, co-host, any of us doing anything, we're going to put that content here. It'll be all the live stuff, all the different events. And then the special new series we'll be talking about at the end of the show tonight, which we talked about last week, but we didn't really mention it. We started off the show with the Prince music, thinking that it would be cool to just kind of pay tribute to Prince, and woke up the next morning and got a bunch of emails, a bunch of attention that the show got muted. I apologize. I went in, I admitted that it was their copyright. I did all that stuff you're supposed to do. I don't think it ever fixed it, so we appreciate anyone that tried to watch it, couldn't see it. We'll repeat the important stuff tonight at the end of the channel. Yeah, at the end of the show. All right. This first story tonight on Gun News, guns.com is wacky. Somebody, make sure you're muted if you're not talking, guys. Ross, I think that's you with a little bit of feedback. Despite facing several gun and drug-related charges, a Utah man who shot and killed his live-in girlfriend during an argument on Super Bowl Sunday will not face murder charges. Did you guys see this article on guns.com? I read the article, and basically, this guy just looks like bad news all around. There's drugs, there's all this stuff, there's a kid in the house. And according to the parent's father or mother, the daughter's obviously not there to tell her side of the story, and she was shot 3 times in the back. Not towards him, apparently. Excuse me. And the other thing that the cops said when they showed up was that the body was not very warm, indicating that it had taken some time. The 8-year-old daughter was home during the whole incident. She did not witness the actual shooting. They found marijuana, drug paraphernalia, easily could have been accessible to the child, according to the article. And he had high levels of THC, which made him restricted from being in possession of firearms. 2 handguns, a shotgun, and a rifle were later found inside the home. They still say it was justified and done in self-defense. What happens when we all believe in the self-defense thing, we all believe in the stand your ground, yet a story comes back that looks so one-sided or so weird like this?
Well, all I can say about that is we don't know all the facts. Obviously, there's something that leads them to believe that it's self-defense, although from an outsider looking in, it certainly doesn't seem that way.
I have no idea on her size versus his size, all those types of details that would lend a little bit more to, make a judgment call. But, I mean, again, he posts bail on the drug charges for having possession, and she's dead, and he's not being charged. Bizarre. On to the next one, Orlando. Swell, you got this story from Orlando? I know you found at least 3 or 4 more sources, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't even look it up. But it says felon out on bond, shot dead after pulling gun on CWP holder. It seems an argument broke out between 2 customers at an Orlando gas station early Monday morning, and it turned deadly when one man was shot. But authorities say at this point it appears the man who fired the shots acted in self-defense. Let's see. The incident unfolded just before 1 a.m. It isn't known what the 2 men were arguing over, but witnesses say Delvin Jamar Broner, a convicted felon who was out on bond at the time, was the instigator. Titus Bernard, with whom Broner was arguing, later told investigators that Broner was carrying a concealed weapon, though it was not hidden very well. Looked like the argument escalated. Broner pulled a gun on Bernard, but Bernard, who is also a valid CCW holder, pulled his as well. And Bernard, fearing for his life, fired at Broner, striking him several times. And the felon was pronounced dead at the scene.
Well, I'm sure there's video. It's at a gas station, right?
There's got to be, but I didn't. There's none on this link. But this, the gentleman that ended up dead, the felon, he's been arrested for more than 30 times, and charges ranges from drug possession to assault. And based on the witness testimony, he was acting very aggressive, and his life.
Were charges filed, Schwell?
So far, no, not yet.
Pretty cut and dry.
The shooter is the one who called the police. The shooter and the witnesses corroborate his story and everything that he testified to. So this is one of those situations where there are actual witnesses to back up the shooter's claims, and usually that's what makes or breaks some of these cases in regard to whether or not they file, charges against the shooter. But he was a concealed weapons holder, a legal holder, and this gentleman, the other gentleman that had the gun, was out on bond, a convicted felon out on bond who had a gun as well. So,
who has a major history of
right
other felonies behind him. It sounds like one of those cases of he finally got what was coming.
Hey, I don't ever wish it on anyone, but
I don't, but you play with fire, eventually you're going to end up with a burn, you know what I mean?
Yep. All right, cool. Eric, we're going to throw that one to you in about 3 or 4 stories. Real quick, a couple state-by-state stories tonight. Missouri House approves permitless concealed carry. You don't have to have a permit to conceal carry in Missouri anymore. That was on Tuesday. That advanced the bill to the Constitution. A bill. The proposal. Oh no, it's still rocking. It's not done. It now heads the Missouri Senate, where Republicans have a significant 24-8 majority. It'll be interesting. Connecticut House.
It would be nice to see more states adopt the permitless carry. It would be nice.
I think what we're going to see in the end, Ross, is just a division of states within the Union of America, within the United States, kind of like it's blue and red for this election. You're going to see states that really believe that you have the right, that absolutely don't believe you have the right, and then there's going to be a bunch in the middle that just kind of pick and choose whatever based on electorate and that kind of stuff.
You know what? I think you're right. I do. I think you're 100% right. The only problem with that is that the criminals don't care. They'll carry without a permit every state, no matter whether it's.
It's a great point. It's a great point. All right, so Connecticut. This one's bizarre. Well, we talked about it earlier. It's not bizarre. Their House approved a bill to seize guns from those with restraining orders. If you have a domestic violence and you get charged, the legislation makes a person ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition if they are subject of a civil restraining or protection order issued in a case involving physical force.
So is that now the law in Connecticut, or is that now up for debate in Connecticut?
It's still a bill, but
They also will seize any weapons that you have.
it's in the Senate.
But so it's not in effect though. They're still debating it, correct?
State 7 with the backing of Connecticut's chief executives, and again they issued a joint statement on Wednesday praising the measure. They said it's a common sense step forward to strengthen and enhance our gun violence prevention laws. We must protect domestic violence victims. We have a moral obligation to work to prevent needless tragedy. We know that the period of time immediately following a temporary restraining order is critical. Clearly, access to a firearm in that situation can only increase the chances that something tragic might happen. Clearly. You have 24 hours after in order to turn in all your guns. That's kind of what the whole thing breaks down to.
So on one hand, this is a good thing. I mean, you can't argue with it, considering. But on the flip side of that, there's wordage in there that says that the police department may reissue you your guns at the end of it. I don't believe with the confiscation, but I think there's some merit to protecting someone who feels like they need to get a restraining order against an ex-husband. Although, what are you going to do with people who aren't exactly honest? But
Hugh's in the house. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Didn't know if you had something specific to jump in, or you just wanted to jump in.
No, I'm just jumping in, paying attention. That's all.
Good to see you.
all right.
Quentin Q. Carter's in the house. Anybody that doesn't know who he is, you will. So, Ross, the thing that I have a problem with on this one is this. And again, I don't know where my head goes with it, but so dude smacks his wife, or maybe doesn't. In Florida, if the cops are called, someone's going to jail. Let's just say someone's a little crazy and decides, you know what, I'm going to get a restraining order on this guy so he doesn't come to my work and fuck up my job and tell people how crazy I really am. Gets the restraining order on him. Now he doesn't have the right. Let's say he doesn't hit her and she's just crazy. Now he doesn't have the right to protect himself.
You're right. In cases where people are being people and not being honest, it's definitely going to be a detriment to have people seizing your weapons, and you're not going to be able to protect yourself. On the flip side, in an honest world, you could see this as a good thing. This makes sense, if you will.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Who's going to seize the guns to the guy that doesn't want to give them up? Sheriff's
Department. my big problem is that the wording is the police department can or may reissue your guns when the restraining order has expired. It doesn't say they have to. It says that they may do it. So that's where I run into a huge problem with this.
Well, I think it's the legislation is still under debate, so that verbiage may change. But when it comes to restraining orders, sometimes they expire, but the case isn't. There's still pending litigation. There's still pending, if it's charges, still pending charges. So just because the restraining order expired doesn't mean the situation is resolved. So I think what they're trying to do is trying to find some way to kind of fit in there where there could be something going on. The restraining order has expired because they do have time limits. But if there's still litigation or charges or something happening that person doesn't get, my guess is, doesn't get a weapon back and now takes revenge or goes after the person that requested the restraining order on the person.
And then keep their knives, right? This is just guns.
I don't know what
their samurai sword collection on the walls is safe. They would just take the guns.
Can you, if you can share that link, we can do some research on it.
All right, no problem. That's over on guns.com. for everybody else is out there that wants to check it out. All right, flying through a couple other little stories and then a couple cool videos to watch. Burglar sues a homeowner who shot him. This was in Dunkirk, Indiana, in 2014. The guy was breaking into a garage. The guy shot him. The guy survived, and now he is suing him for damages. The guy who shot him.
And I think that it should be the other way around. The homeowner should actually sue the person breaking in for undue stress and post-traumatic stress, because now he has to worry, not only did he fire his weapon in anger, he shot someone. He's going to have to pay for that for the rest of his life, regardless whether he was right or wrong. You still deal with that. So if he wants to play this fuck game and the burglar sue the homeowner, no problem. Sue him right back. He doesn't have anything. You're not going to be able to take anything from him. But at least garnish his tax return for the next 40 years so he doesn't go get to buy a new set of 26s or something, you know?
I agree with Q.
Hold on, there's more to the story here. He says that he never was intending to steal property. He was just going there. Why exactly he went to go in there is unknown. But it's the public right-of-way off and off the property. Yeah. One of the rounds that he fired, according to the complaint, caused serious and permanent damage. Although he pled guilty to the burglary, he didn't do any jail time. Instead, they sent him home with some electronic jewelry. The homeowner, however, Mr. Warning Shot, went to jail for 60 days, and the lawsuit asked for a monetary award in the amount sufficient to compensate the burglar for all damages. Well, I think we heard.
What state was that? Indiana?
Indiana.
Is it a flee state where you have to flee first? Or I've seen cases like this in the past. When I first got my CCW back in 90 whatever in Nevada, that was one of those states where you had to show that you were trying to flee before you were able to use any kind of deadly force or anything like that for someone. And a lot of times in those cases or in those states, burglars are actually suing homeowners who shoot them and don't kill them. So, folks, finish the job.
You also got to know your state laws. Like in Mass, the Castle Doctrine, if you can retreat, you don't, but you have the ability to, you can still be held liable if you discharge your firearm. So just know what your state and know what your state laws are.
Yeah, we're going to have a special report just on that, on what to do after you fire, if you should have to, depending on your states and all that kind of stuff. It amazes me. This next story amazes me. It's right here in Coral Springs where I am in Florida, and it just amazes me that people are still able to walk into a bank with a hood and something over their face and get money and leave and get away with it in today's world. But it's happened twice in the last 2 weeks, it looks like. Middle of University Drive, right in the middle of downtown. Guy goes into a bank, gets money, and leaves. It's amazing to me that still happens, but it does.
Dude, it's easier today than it's ever been. People got their nose planted in their phones 99% of the time.
I also just saw where there was a bank robbery in China, and this makes a lot of sense. The people that went in, the very first thing they told everyone in the bank was, the money belongs to the government, your life belongs to you. So kind of puts into perspective, how much are you willing to try to stop that burglary when you know that robbery really doesn't affect you any?
I tell you, as long as the guy doesn't point the gun in my face, and I'm in a bank, I'm gonna politely listen to what he has to say. If he starts shooting, it's on. I mean, that's just the way I see it.
Difference.
Yep. All right, so this next one, Eric, you kind of had the lowdown on this Robert Durst story with the dude with the show with this thing.
Yeah, Robert Durst, he's kind of been in the news, or if you are a fan of HBO, he had a show called The Jinx, kind of like a reality show called The Jinx, The Life and the Deaths of Robert Durst. He's been investigated for years for the death of one of his wife, and I guess during the last episode of that show, off camera, he's getting up from his final interview. He more or less they claim he more or less said, "I'm sorry, I did do it." Apparently, they also found some firearms or weapon charges on him. He was either carrying, or they found it in his hotel or what he was staying. So he now has a new 7-year prison term. So
wow.
he is not the most stable of individuals. If you do some research on this guy, when he was running from the law, he had disguises he would wear, and we'll just say he's strange.
All right.
Was that like a mini series they did, Eric, or was it?
Yeah, it was like a season-long series on HBO.
Art imitates life, imitates art kind of thing, where he was producing things that were imitating him doing things. Is that kind of the gist?
It was a series about basically kind of proving it. Did he kill his wife or did he not kill his wife? It's kind of like a real crime drama, I guess. True
Really?
crime, real crime. Yeah. Last year or 2 years ago? A couple years ago?
Got it. All right, a couple other quick stories. That's the Robert Durst one. Gun store fights back. Did you hear about this in Arlington? I believe it's Virginia. It's the only Arlington I know of.
Yes, it is Virginia.
I sure did hear about this one.
All right, you guys take it away. Gun store fights back and sues 64 individuals trying to pressure them out of business.
This is the only gun store. Is it Fairfax, Virginia? I believe.
Arlington.
Sorry.
Arlington.
This is the only gun store with a brick-and-mortar facade in the entire place. The local representatives were trying to push them out, writing letters, going on social media, making all these falsehoods about, are you ready to pay for all the murders that you're going to bring into our city, and all the left-wing, nutty-ass gun slogans that they always pull out. And this guy got granted approval to start his gun store there. And afterwards, he decided to go after his representative that made all these defamation. He's calling them defamations against him for, I want to say it was a little over $2 million going after him.
$2 million in damages. That's exactly what it says.
Yep. And it, you know what? It's about time. These guys on the other side are not afraid to lie and cheat and steal to try to put an honest businessman out of business.
Casey, is this like a liberal pocket of Virginia? I thought Virginia was a gun-loving state. What's going on?
Well, if you look at all the elections, Virginia is now a blue state, and it's because it's carried by Northern Virginia. So the area just outside of D.C., population is so huge. You got a lot of liberals up around D.C., Beltway area, Fairfax, Crush, baby.
Remember, they're also the state that just tried to rescind. Was it reciprocity?
Reciprocity.
And all of that stuff. So there's been a steady change going on in the state of Virginia, and we're
that got switched back around, but yeah, it's
but also if you look at it from a constitutional, like a First Amendment versus Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment protects the First, and the people against the gun store had a First Amendment right to speak out. But the other side of it is, you then have to deal with the consequences of what you're speaking out about, and that means being sued. If you're speaking out and it's libelous, now you can be sued for libel and so forth. So
the key for this story, though, Eric, is they were sending letters to local businesses that were around it. They sent letters to the landlord of the location. Now, this guy is renting his location, and they sent those letters on official letterheads. So now they're using their position in a way that they're not supposed to. So that's where all of this stuff comes into play. Had they not sent it on official letterheads, I don't think that this guy has a case. But because they did it in that capacity, he has a case that they're using their position to try and to destroy their business.
On taxpayer dime.
Right.
I think, yes, I agree. And there's also instances where I'm sure if you go I'm sure there's other representatives in the past have done that for other types of businesses too, where they've sent stuff on official letterhead saying this business should not be here, be it in a adult bookstore or a strip club or a liquor store. We know that's happened here locally. So I would say it does happen, and I think sometimes what happens is you have representatives representing their constituents that get called by everyone, probably the people that don't work or that are retired or have nothing better to do but call their representatives every day, and they're just representing those people possibly, and that's why they get the official letterhead. But I think it's people voicing opinions, and then they have to deal with the outcomes of those opinions.
True enough. All right, these next two kind of go together. One of them is, again, I didn't share this one. I don't think I shared this one with you guys prior. But there's our friend Jay Wallace from Adventure Outdoors. Check it out. The biggest gun store I've ever been to. I think it's one of the biggest in the country still. But basically, he was interviewed and asked questions about, because they sell so many guns, he was obviously someone to talk to, tracking the flow of guns used in crimes and inexact science. And there's a whole article here on the Fairfield Citizen, if you want to go check it out. But, Mr. Wallace said, quote, "A firearm takes on a life of its own after it leaves. It can be bought and sold many times over." And Ross had a comment just a couple stories ago that all relates to this as well. But once again, of the 7,600 and change firearms recovered in New York that were retraced by the ATF in 2014, only 1,397 or 1,200 of them were originally sold there. Some were from Virginia, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. So not only that, we know that criminals get guns from other sources other than from the counter. The other story that kind of connects to this is what's going on in Chicago. It's just unbelievable. There's a story on Recoil magazine that kind of, again, Back to Bedlam, Cop Haters Make Up Your Mind is the name of the story. But it talks about what these LEO officers are seeing, what's going on in the departments, some other things that are going on. But it talks about all the crime that's going on, and we all know that these guns weren't all legally bought. Just impossible. And it also talks about the fact that the number is already spiked to where it usually takes about a year to get to. We're already there halfway into the year.
So some interesting facts that came out of this article. Chicago, the worst or the most restrictive gun state or a city, has more murders and more gun seizures per capita than New York and Los Angeles combined.
It's crazy right now there.
Oh my God.
That's why they call it Chirac.
And we know it's the South Side. We know that people still go there and visit downtown Chicago and go to the restaurants and the shows and see the sights and all that kind of stuff, and probably don't go anywhere near that. It's kind of like, again, Ross, when we were growing up right outside of D.C., big difference between Southeast and where we were. And that's when Marion Barry was there and the crack bomb went off and all that stuff. It was going on, but it wasn't like it was affecting us day to day.
Yeah, but I think it's grown way worse than it was when we were growing up.
All right, Q, take it easy, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Anybody that doesn't know what's going on with Q, he's got a channel coming up on YouTube soon. He's going to be working with us on a couple projects. He's got to jump off, it looks like, but we'll talk to you next time, brother.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the time. You guys are doing a great job, and I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Peace.
All right, see you.
We'll reset right now, actually, because it's a good time to do so. Make sure you go over to Keybar.com and use TACDaddy as a coupon code. Go get a Keybar. Stop the noise, as they say. And make sure you check out Hilux, Century Arms, Green Force Tactical. All that stuff's available over on TACDaddy.com. And the Grizzly giveaway. Well, let's give away a Grizzly target from last week to somebody that was paying attention. Let's have first person that can name the songs that were played that got us in trouble. How about that? And post that on the GunNewsWeekly.com version of this. Oh, Casey, don't mute yourself for those glorious type moments in the house when things are going fantastic.
Please do.
Okay, never mind. So anyway, that's how you win a target from Grizzly. Probably send you a target with a stand, that kind of thing. But what were the Prince songs that got us in trouble last week? Go post the answer at GunNewsWeekly.com under this post for this video that you're watching right now.
Hey, Kevin, we already got a winner.
All right, cool. Hold on.
Me.
It's you. Thinks he's so funny. All right, anyway. Chris, unaffected by the parent company's financial troubles. We hope so. I think those vectors are fantastic. It looks like there's a bunch of back and forth between the parent companies and the sister companies and all that shit. But it looks like they're still selling guns. Pretty good clip here. Every time I see them come into Only the Best or Gun World or any place down here, they're gone.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that story applies to Chris U.S. It's not applying to the branch that's here in the United States.
It's the Swiss parent company, right?
Correct. Only they're the ones that are being impacted right now. I guess their finances are two separate entities at this point, and we'll see how that progresses.
Is
And
that Sphinx?
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And they also have suppressors too, I believe.
that is correct.
All right, what else? A couple other quick stories, and then we'll do a couple quick things with Tech Time that'll be fun tonight. Maricopa County Joe Arpaio, you've heard of this guy, right? He's using money from the sale of seized crime scene guns to buy $140,000 in ammunition and radios for his volunteer posse.
Joe's anti-Second Amendment. He's anti-concealed carry for sure.
No, he's the pro. Isn't he the one that's all pro? Isn't he the one that did all the stuff at jails where he dressed the dudes up in pink and did all those types of things? Am I mistaken?
That doesn't necessarily mean he's pro Second Amendment, Kevin. That just means that he's pro strong arm of the law.
Yes,
He's
he's
pro
very
incarceration.
strong arm of the law.
He's pro incarceration. We know that.
It says here, he said, quote, "My posse responds to situations that could be life-threatening. They need to be ready to protect themselves, the deputies they are supporting, and innocent bystanders in potentially violent situations because law enforcement is not getting full support from the highest levels of the federal government, and we have a widespread war on cops throughout the country. Being prepared for a hostile criminal element is crucial."
For his officers.
His
Or
posse.
his
His posse.
Yeah.
Ross's posse.
I think the key to this article, and I may be wrong, but I think the key to this article is the fact that he's using confiscated guns to do this with. As in, he's taking these guns from citizens to buy his guys ammo. I could be wrong.
Joe's about Joe. He likes the cameras. We'll leave it at that.
No doubt. All right, let's wrap up a couple other quick ones. New York Police Department officer Peter Lang, 28, was recently found guilty of manslaughter for shooting of a man named Akai Gurley in November of 2014. Basically, he was described as most people as a rookie on the force. He discharged a round when something startled him, and the weapon went off and killed a bystander. And now he's been charged and found guilty. So I'm sure they're going to have a sentencing on that as well.
His sentencing was 5 years of probation for killing someone who was walking in his own building that he lived in, unarmed, not committing a crime. This officer had been on the force for less than a year and was scared and nervous, so he pulled out his gun and his flashlight and was walking around in the dark with it. Was startled, gun went off, the guy gets shot, the cop panics and doesn't call for help. He doesn't give him any first aid. He lets the guy bleed out and die. And this is the outcome.
Quote, startled.
He startled the guy. I mean, he was startled, shoots the gun. The bullet ricochets off the wall, hits the guy that was walking around in the building that he lived in, unarmed, not committing any crimes. He ends up dead, and this guy gets 5 years of probation.
We always say there's consequences every time you pull that trigger, and it seems like definitely the punishment doesn't fit the crime in this one.
So can I just make a general observation that the police force let him out with a gun and a flashlight with that kind of mentality? I think that there's some negligence to be had on the side of the police department.
I read the story so flat to see what you guys would pick up on, but again, accidentally discharged and a round went off and hit a bystander. He was just snooping. Come on. That's the story. That's the original story. I think we all smell something funny there. Man, we're gonna have to talk about that one next week. There's not enough time. All right, a couple. Let's check out. Oh yeah, you guys heard about this one. This one's kind of our political second. We're not going to get into the actual politics of the election, but my Glock identifies as my bodyguard. Was this lawyer's tweet that went out? Did you hear this story?
No.
Let's watch the video. Hold on one second, I'll get it bigger. All right.
Retailer Target announced last week that it would allow transgender employees and customers to use the restroom for fitting rooms facility that corresponds with their gender identity. The company's announcement may be in response to the passage of North Carolina's new law, which bans transgender people from using bathrooms of their specified gender. Anita Staver, lawyer and president of Liberty Council, a religious liberty group based in Orlando, tweeted late last week that she plans to take her Glock 45 to the ladies' room at Target. Her tweet reads, "I'm taking a Glock 45 to the ladies' room. It identifies as my bodyguard. Hashtag boycott Target at Target." Staver went on to specify that the gun wasn't intended for a hypothetical transgender attack, but for the hypothetical perverts who will use the law to gain access to women.
Okay, so you guys are mad that I played that one, but too bad. I thought it was important because of her tweet that said basically when she got all the backlash from her original tweet, she said, "Oh, by the way, I always carry a gun when I go to a public bathroom." And then the back and
People
forth.
need to stop being so sensitive. Jeez Louise, man.
Well, I'm not trying to cover the gender issue whatsoever. I'm trying to cover the fact that this lady's saying, "I'm taking my gun into a bathroom, period, end of story. I don't care which gender comes in here."
And people do it thousands of times a day. People take their Glocks or whatever into the bathroom. Good for her.
There you go.
People need to quit complaining.
Did you hear about the body cam footage showing the officer shooting the suspect in the face after he reached for the gun? Did you guys watch this video? It's long, and I'll have to skip through a couple parts, but it's very interesting.
It's one hell of a foot chase, too.
It's one hell of a foot chase. The guy gets out. Well, again, there's several things. I'm going to pause it a couple times just for discussion, but here's the beginning of it. And there's no noise until the chase really starts, and so the noise is going to come in just a second here. Now, where this officer learned gangster style is beyond me.
Full-on gangster style.
So he's got it on him sideways, and now the audio kicks in.
Shot fired, one running.
So did you guys see this as he did shoot him right there?
Oh, yeah, he was hit.
Okay. And then, because he goes to the taser after a long chase here, and again, I'm going to kind of just chase, running around the hotel, running around the back of the...
I'm assuming he was hit because later in the video he said, "I've got one that's been hit."
Well, right here is where...
He got him right in the face.
Okay, and then right here. Now he pulls out a taser with the left hand. The other thing is he's running with the gun out in front of him the whole time. I question some of the... So there he hits him with the taser. Guy gets up and keeps running.
Coming back to the...
I wonder if he actually got him or his clothing.
Now he's got the gun out and he's still right there on the guy.
I'm sorry. I watched the video. I laughed the entire time I watched it. One, the way he was holding the gun. Two, the cop was running with the gun and his arms extended straight out with the gun and pulled out a taser and was still able to keep up with you. Just give up. You have no speed, son. Sit down. Sit down.
He's still running. This is where the guy gets pretty funny. He's like, "I'm out of breath." But he's literally, he catches up to him here. He could have shot him. I mean, let's give him credit. He could have just started popping the guy. But obviously he's running away. He didn't.
It doesn't look like the probes from the taser are still in the guy, so that probably failed.
I'm just a little puzzled. If you were able, or if you saw a reason to shoot once, you should have other reason to shoot after that first engagement.
I mean, that guy couldn't have hit him from that far away.
And it's proof that the average cop is not ready to run 3 minutes. That's what I gain.
No, but nope, not many people are ready to run at full sprint for 3 minutes.
I could jump out of this chair right now and run for 5 minutes.
Full sprint?
Full sprint with gear on, with kit, and holding a gun and flashlight, and a taser.
He should have holstered the gun after he shot him in the face.
Easy to play armchair quarterback.
Yeah, I'm no armchair officer here. I'm not. I can't call it. I just thought it was comedy. I mean, they ran around the building and ended up right back where they started.
Yes. And now, this is where, so ATAC was watching this part with me, and she's like, did you see what I saw? I was like, yes. Watch this. Now he's running up. 2 cops have intercepted the suspect and have the suspect on the ground. You're telling me that cop's not pointing right at those 2 dudes? This guy and this guy?
Is this a case where he's using his flashlight on his gun as a using that flashlight for everything else?
I think so, Kevin. I think so, Eric. I think you're absolutely correct.
Listen to him.
We're good.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
He sounded like Casey.
He needs 911 to go make sure he doesn't have a heart attack. And that's no disparaging to any law enforcement that are listening and watching.
No, they know we support him. This is obviously someone that we can pick apart, though.
Man, why'd you go to the gun? God.
What did he say to him?
Why did you drop your gun? God damn, or something?
I thought he said, why'd you grab for my gun or something?
Ah, man.
Yeah, they've done studies. They've done studies before where they've had people run like 500 yards and then try to take 3 consecutive shots, and it doesn't work out well.
Yeah. Last video of the night I wanted to show because there's a new gun show coming to the Pursuit channel, and there's new shows coming up that have guns in them, so we might as well watch the promos for them. This one's out of shows some of the Knob Creek footage obliterating a minivan out there. Yeehaw!
37 millimeter high velocity armored piercing round, and we're going to send it the direction of the mystery van. I'm gonna rock till my dying day.
I hope they vetted these people before they started production. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, you could drink a beer out of that shell.
Vetted people don't sell shows.
He was introduced as the host as a singer-songwriter. What's the vet?
Must have jaded background. Is that what we're saying? All right, let's talk about a couple products real quick. Well, do you have the DDC charging handle close by?
No.
Well, you suck.
Hey, are you selling there, Kevin?
I am. They're on TagDaddy.com.
Gotcha.
The other thing that's on TagDaddy.com that we're going to be hearing about a little bit soon is a couple different products from a Swedish knife company called Ica. I did not know what Sandvik steel was, but now I do. And let me tell you, this stuff is badass. This is the little hatchet knife. We've got about 4 or 5 of their new products up there, and this thing is the real deal. But I wanted to show you the 17-inch, what they call the combi saw. You look at this thing, and it's just like whatever, but it would definitely fit into a backpack. 17 inches top to bottom, and it obviously looks like it turns into like a little saw, right? But what's cool about it is if you look inside closely, and I'll show you in a second, it's this simple. You open it up. You pull back this little spring action thing here, and then you pick which of the 3 blades you want to use. Put the spring back over. This goes under. This guy opens up. There's a little tab. There's a little tab in here, and boom.
Show and tell with Kevin.
There it is.
I was envisioning a spring thing flying out and Kevin chopping his arm off.
Stop. So there
3
it is.
different types of blades, huh?
3 different blades, and that's what's cool about it. It's got one for plastic, metal, and then obviously for wood. Where's the...
I actually think that is a badass little tool. So I assume that it's got a hacksaw blade in it, a wood blade, and some intermediary blade.
Yep. Right now, $70, $69.99.
Right on.
Super lightweight. It's got a 5-year guarantee on it. You can get it in orange and black, you can also get replacement blades, et cetera, et cetera.
Dude, you could get a lot of trades guys to buy something like that.
I think it's a great bushcraft thing, don't you?
I think it's a great, if it's well built. I mean, I don't have it in my hands, but it looks well built. If it's well built, I can tell you right now that good good hacksaws are always a necessity in many of the construction fields.
Lightweight. I think I have the. Do I have the weight? Yeah, 12 ounces. Super lightweight. It's a cool thing. And again, the company's been around since 1882. And they're out of Sweden. There's a lot of stuff you're going to be hearing about this because we're going to do a lot of different things, some custom stuff with them, et cetera, et cetera. But it's called ICA. You can look them up on the internet right now. You can go, and there's a massive Sweden site that you can translate over into English, or you can just go to tagdaddy.com. I've got most of the stuff up on the 4 or 5 products that we're starting out with. Really cool regular knife that's under $70. The hatchet, there's a machete, there's a bunch of other stuff coming from them that's pretty cool that I do like. The other thing I wanted to mention was, and shout out to Nancy from Tough Products.
I checked out their website today.
There you go. Well, one thing you may or may not have seen that she introduced me to when I saw her at Only the Best this past week was the EDC pen. First of all, she was like, write with it. And I was like, oh, I just kind of signed my name on it, but I've been using it, writing with it. It's a great writer. I mean, it writes nicely. It's got the, but here's the cool features on it. It's got the glass breaker tip on the back, right? It's got the stylus on the inside, and then it's got your handy dandy handcuff key inside as well.
I like any product that comes with a handcuff key.
Again, go over to Tough Products, check that out over there, and again, that's toughproducts.com. Thanks again, Nancy. Appreciate it.
They've also got some nice belts too. They do some good belt work too.
I like their EDC belts, and I talked to one person who's using their competitive belt, and they said it's fantastic, but I don't know much about the competitive stuff. Grizzly.
Do you have that side charging handle close to you, Kevin?
I have it, but I haven't. Okay, so I guess what I learned was that even my Ruger is a billet upper. I tried to install it several, again, played with it. It just doesn't fit properly. What happens is it doesn't. It gets in. I can put it in exactly like instructions say, but then the bolt is like really tight for some reason. So I'll have to find again just a regular forged upper and swap one out. No, I don't have anything, but I'll find something. But yeah, it doesn't work on billet uppers, and it doesn't work on like the head down guns because the rail wraps around just a little bit further, But
I think, yeah. Do you have a spike upper? Your Jack has the spike upper, right?
Yes, but it's not in the house.
It's billet too, isn't it?
That's billet too. Yeah, that's a full billet gun, and they're being worked on.
And most
no worries.
Are billets.
Yeah. Speaking of the head down, go check out Head Down and their Angry Wifey model. And did you see the new rail from them this week? I know Schwell did. Did anybody else see it?
No, is it on the website?
I'm not too sure. Probably Facebook, that kind of stuff. But let's wrap it up. I wanted to shout out one more of our friends and congratulate Rob Pincus. In case anyone was unaware, he'll be speaking at the NRA event coming up in Louisville next month. So congratulations to Rob. Go check out his series, the PDN. Again, that's the Personal Defense Network. We'll be bringing him on probably either next week or the following week. I got to talk to him. Defensive Mindset. Great place to start when you're talking about the CD series and the DVD series that he's got there. Go on over to his I think he's got something going on now where it's under $10 a month, and you get full access to all his knowledge and all of his database of everything.
Dude, his video is great. Very
great
knowledgeable.
Stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff.
It'll be cool to see what he has to say out at the NRA event. Any other announcements we need to make this week, Schwell? No?
No. Just don't forget, guys, Inspire should be releasing the week prior to NRA annual meetings, and I'll be there. Kevin will be there. I think Casey said he was going to try and be there as well if he can make it happen. And I want to give a shout out to my little brother Brody. I love those guys. I just love everything about their family and the way that they stick together. And I just love his drive. And he's an inspiration to me and everything that I go through with my health. I just think about Brody and it puts a smile on my face. And I just want to give him a shout and hope he's watching tonight. And if he's not, hopefully Misty or one of them can turn up the volume and tell him, hey, Brody, we're thinking about you. We love you, brother. And we can't wait to see you again. Hopefully I'll be able to get up there before the year is over to come and hang out with you for a day or two.
100%. We're gonna have to do a Brody episode of Inspire, bro. I'm calling it. We're just gonna have to make it happen. Yeah. Even if it's just a personal one, just for us, it's gonna have to happen. And I completely agree with everything you had to say. Shout out to Brody and the fam and all the great news that came out this week. We're very happy for you. And again, we'll keep on supporting you and appreciate the support that you've shown us. And also all the people that stuck around for the whole show. We appreciate it. Please share this with your friends. Please get this out. Let everyone know that Gun News Weekly is now its own channel, its own entities. You're looking at the team. Ross is here. Casey's here. Eric's here. Swell's here as always. Q's joining us. He'll be with us at NRA as well. You want to meet Q for the first time, and you're going to be at NRA. He will be with us most of the time, some of the time for sure. Check out TacDaddy.com. Check out EverydayCarryLife.com. Thank you to Frank and everybody that has supported us along the way. We do appreciate it. Check out everybody's on the panel's Facebooks, all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, make sure you support the Gun News Weekly thing. We're going to push it hard, get some great guests on here, do some great stuff with this new series. Appreciate all the support tonight, and make sure you check out Funker Tactical as well. We'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, fellas, good night.
Good night, man.
Peace.
Bye.